Gout Gout is not just fast for his age. At 18, he ran a time that would have made teenage Usain Bolt look 4 meters behind. That is why his speed feels less like hype and more like a warning. And the scariest part is how much time he still has left. Gout Gout ran 19.67 seconds for 200 meters at the 2026 Australian Championships in Sydney, and the sprint world had to stop and look again. It was not wind-aided, it was legal, with a plus 1.7 wind. It was an Australian national record. It was also a world under-20 best. That time made him the first Australian man to break 20 seconds legally in the 200 meters. His own old national record was 20.02. In one race, he did not just dip under 20, he smashed through it and landed deep in world-class territory. The scary part is not only the time, it is the age beside the time. Gout was 18. Most sprinters are still learning how to build a full season at that age. Many are still fighting to control their starts, their curves, and their race nerves. Gout ran 19.67 like the future had arrived early. That is why people keep saying his name with caution. Not because he is already the greatest. He is not. But because 19.67 at 18 is not normal speed. It is a number that forces every serious sprint fan to ask what happens when his body, strength, and racecraft keep growing. The easy headline is Gout versus Usain Bolt. It is catchy, but it can also become lazy. Bolt is the 200-meter world record holder at 19.19. He became the fastest man the sport has ever seen. Comparing anyone to him too early can crush the truth under noise. But the age comparison is still important. By 18, Bolt's best legal 200-meter time was 19.93. Gout has now run 19.67 at the same age level. The gap is 0.26 seconds. In a 200-meter race, that can be almost 3 meters. That is not a small edge. That is a visible gap on the track. This does not mean Gout will become Bolt. It does not mean he will break 19.19. It means he has reached a place earlier than almost anyone expected. He has already run faster as a teenager than Bolt did at the same stage. That is why the comparison matters. Not as a crown, as a warning. Bolt later improved into a once-in-history athlete. Gout still has to grow through the hardest years. But when a teenager is already ahead of Bolt's teenage mark, the sport has to take the threat seriously. Gout's speed is frightening because of how he covers ground. He is tall, smooth, and loose when he hits full flight. He does not look like he is fighting the track every step. When he opens up, the distance between him and the field can change very quickly. That matters in the 200 meters because the race is not won by pure panic. The start matters, but the bend, the transition, and the straight all matter too. Some young sprinters can blast the first 80 meters and then fall apart. Gout looks dangerous because his best running comes when many athletes begin to tighten. In Sydney, he broke the race open and kept moving. Aidan Murphy also ran a brilliant 19.88 per second, which showed the conditions and competition were strong. But Gout still made the race feel like it belonged to him. His 100-meter progression matters too. He has shown sub-10 ability, including a 9.99 mark with an asterisk and a 10.00 Australian under-20 record listed by World Athletics. That speed supports the 200. A great 200-meter runner needs enough 100-meter speed to attack, then enough strength to survive the straight. Gout has both pieces earlier than he should. Australia has produced great athletes, but men's sprinting has not usually lived at the very top of the global 100 and 200-meter fight. That is why Gout's rise feels so loud at home. He is not just a fast teenager. He is changing what Australian sprinting believes it can be. Before 2026, the legal sub-20 barrier was still sitting there for Australian men. Gout took it down, and Murphy followed him through it in the same race. That one final made the whole country look different on the sprint map. For young Australian sprinters, that matters. The ceiling suddenly looks higher. A kid watching from a local track can now see an Australian jersey beside the fastest men on Earth and believe the lane is not locked from the outside anymore. That kind of belief can change a whole program for years. The timing also adds weight. The next Olympic cycle points toward Los Angeles in 2028 and then Brisbane in 2032. For Australia, Brisbane is not just another Games, it is home soil. Gout will be 24 in 2032, right in the age range where many sprinters are at their physical peak. That is the real fear for rivals. He is already running times that win global medals in many years, and the biggest home Olympics of his life is still 6 years away. If his path stays clean, Australia may not be cheering for a miracle in Brisbane, it may be expecting a monster. The honest part is important. Gout Gout is not a finished champion. A 19.67 proves world-class speed, but it does not prove global control yet. Championship sprinting is different. At the top level, rounds can change everything. A sprinter must run fast, recover, run again, handle pressure, and keep form when the body is tired. The final is not always won by the athlete with the most exciting personal best. It is won by the athlete who survives the whole meet and still has one more great race. There is also the field. Noah Lyles, Letsila Tebogo, Kenny Bednarek, Arion Knighton, and other elite 200-meter men are not waiting for him to grow. They already know how to race global finals. They know how to handle travel, lanes, crowds, and pressure. Gout also has to stay healthy. Young sprinters can improve fast, but speed is expensive. Hamstrings, workload, travel, and expectation can hurt a career if the plan is rushed. So the right answer is not to crown him too early. The right answer is to say this: 19.67 gives him a seat at the serious table. Now he has to prove he can stay there. The scariest part of Gout's story is not his current time. It is the timeline. Many male sprinters reach their strongest years somewhere around their early to mid-20s. Every athlete is different, but the usual peak window often sits closer to 23 to 26 than 18. That means Gout may have 5 to 8 years of body growth, training maturity, race learning, and strength work ahead of him before he reaches his best sprinting age. That does not guarantee improvement, but it makes his current level much more serious. If an 18-year-old runs 20.40, people call it promise. If he runs 20.10, people call it special. If he runs 19.67, the sport starts checking history. The number is already too fast to treat as a cute junior story. The room for improvement does not have to be huge to change everything. A drop of only 0.2 would move him toward 19.4 territory. 0.3 would place him near the deepest part of 200-meter history. That is why rivals should care now, not later. The danger is not that he is complete. The danger is that he may be this fast before he is complete. The next stage is not only about running faster. Gout must learn how to win races that are ugly.